All right, we are live on Daily Coast's Facebook and YouTube. I am Kara Zelaya from Daily Coast, and I am joined here by Ricardo Gutierrez. He's the Senior Advisor for Latinx Engagement for Greenpeace. He's the Political Director for Comedians Resist. He's the former Spanish Content Director for Bernie Sanders and Tom Sawyer. Holy goodness, Ricardo, how are you?
Just marvelous, marvelous. It's a great day in the neighborhood. Everybody's happy.
Yeah.
We're having a carne asada here going on. It's
Yeah.
we're all just excited and just yeah. No, it's obviously an interesting day. Obviously, a lot of introspection needs to be done.
Yeah.
We are all cautiously optimistic, if at all.
Mhm.
I definitely am a member of team hashtag never hope because hope is not a strategy, right? We have to work hard to get the results that we need, and we have to invest in actual groundwork and in to get people to turn out. And during 2020, during this pandemic, it is definitely doubly hard to do any groundwork, which is the area where our unions are more powerful and our movements can shine. So with all those difficulties in mind, we have to just be super mindful that mindful that uh, a lot of work has been done, but a lot more work should have and could have been done. Um, we are hoping still for positive results, though, and that the teams that I have led and the work and obviously that people who I have worked with, I'm just extremely proud of all the hours and hours and hours that they have done, focusing mainly myself and my teams in reaching out to Latino voters, Latinx voters in battleground states. With Greenpeace, we were able to contact 4 million voters in these
Wow.
places and focusing on Latino voters, over 500,000. And these are 4 million voters who have any leaning in environmental
Yeah.
what is
Justice,
behavior.
behavior.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And and Latinos also, young Latinos mainly, who have these profiles
Mhm.
and who really care about the environment. We had some really meaningful conversations and we mobilized a lot of people. Uh, and it's just a matter of hoping that all these things pan out.
Yeah.
It's a lot of times a lot of people can see it as something very esoteric. I hate using all these valuations. I just like to talk to voters. I don't care what
Yeah.
their political party is. And you joined us for a text banking operation
I did. I did.
yesterday
It was
here in
great. It was so much
California.
fun.
Tell me about, if I may, because I'm going to
Yeah.
interview you now. Uh, I
Please,
saw
someone
some.
interview me.
I saw some of your messages, some fantastic interactions. You really take care of people and you really
Oh, thank
care for
you.
them.
Oh,
And I really like that. I really like that type of conversation. So, what was your key takeaway? Because, mind you, we were talking to everybody across the spectrum, as long
yeah.
as they were Latinos who hadn't submitted a ballot yet. And
Yeah.
we'll tell the viewers about what district we were talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
please
Yeah.
illuminate me.
So for those of us who are joining us right now, I'm going to do a little bit of an intro again. There's 150 people watching us. This is
Ah,
Ricardo Gutierrez. He's just a total badass and Twitter rabble rouser. He's the senior advisor for Latinx engagement for Greenpeace, the political director for Comedians Resist, former Spanish content director for Bernie Sanders. I mean, I'm just going to keep saying that over and over again. Also, like a Navy veteran, like it
yeah.
goes on and on. He's the best. And literally yesterday, he just messaged us in this group that we have of badass Latino organizers on Twitter. And he's like, hey, does anyone want to be in a text bank? And me being me, I'm like, yeah, what else have I got going on? As if I don't have everything else going on. So Ricardo, illuminates me and is like, yeah, even though California is considered this very progressive state, which it is, there are still districts that are in play. And this is what I've been saying to our watchers and our listeners and our readers all night. And if you have any questions for me, Ricardo, please put them in. I can answer them in real time and I can shoot them to Ricardo. And we have to contest every race. We have to contest every district. And even in true blue and true red states, we have to fight for them. So yeah, I signed on for this text bank, and some people were. I had one very profane person, and I was like, and block, and then and then I had people who were lost, people who didn't know where to drop off their ballot, that I was able to kind of steer the way. So I've been in organizing for a while, a little bit from my background. Even some of the Daily Coast people don't know this. I'm from Broward County, Florida. I'm a Latina. I'm from Honduras. I immigrated in 1996. And I really got involved in politics in the Al Gore race in 2000, even though I was like 9 or 10, because I'm a young pup. And I was very aware of what was going on there. And then I became an Obama alum and this, that. And the rest is kind of history. But I'm like you, Ricardo, every voter counts and every interaction counts. And I, as someone who's organized in Florida, in Georgia, in really conservative areas, I know that you have a thing that you don't care for the East Coast, which is fine. And I know you're also not Team Hope, which is fine. We can still organize together. But yeah, when you approach voters from an individual one-on-one perspective, that's kind of just how I see everything. I wouldn't text my friend some blow-offy, vague thing. So I would never text bank a voter that way. That's pretty much my illumination. But tell us about this district, please.
I was and still am trying to get rid of Kevin McCarthy and send him into early retirement. So he is obviously the leader of the Republicans in the House, and he is a very entrenched Republican with really deep coffers. He has won re-election by 50%, 35%, and 30% respectively the last 3 elections. And obviously, with the year that is going on right now, it's a rising tide lifts all boats. California is doing really well as far as mobilizing goes, and Republicans are doing bad. The reality is, but turnout models show that in this district, he was instead of being 35% higher as he should be in the last couple of elections, he was only up by 2% to 5%, which is surprising. And the candidate running against him, Kim Mangone, she's a phenomenal lady, also a veteran Air Force like myself. I'm Navy, but she's Air Force. And she's a phenomenal person that I met in the last cycle when I was helping Tatiana Mata also get rid of McCarthy. But this time it's different. She was able to, put a little bit of decent fundraising together, put some money behind a dialer and a text banking operation that I took hold of, and they let me contact all the Latinos who hadn't voted yet, and just find out what was moving them. And also, we knew that because of this veteran background, a lot of people were Republican or independent, leaning conservative in the Kern County area. They were looking, taking double, second, third looks at Kim and voting for Trump sometimes, but also voting for Kim, or straight up just abandoning the Trump train, voting Biden and voting Kim. That was super surprising. And I'm sure you saw some of those conversations in some other people you talked to. I ran into a lot of those. Our team, you were a part of the operation yesterday that texted 22,996 people.
It was great. My finger was very sore.
Yes. And the day before that, we had messaged about 32,000 something. So total of like 55,000 messages sent. Some of these were sent back to the same people that we had messaged before who hadn't answered and hadn't had an interaction with us. And as you could see, a lot of those people just were too busy in their lives, working and whatnot. And the day before, yesterday, they were like, actually, can you please help me find my polling station? Or, and just because of this interaction, they were able to vote, to bring 3 more friends to vote, to bring their entire households to vote. That was something very exciting that I found out last Friday, last Thursday, as I was texting this universe. People were straight up, Latinos just vote in mass. So when you mobilize one person, you're mobilizing an entire household,
whole family,
sometimes an entire block.
Yeah.
And it's a really nice investment that people should be doing all the time. I make no assumptions. I'm hashtag never hope. I I do not know.
Boo.
I know. I don't
Kidding.
know how close
Yeah.
the Mangone McCarthy campaign is going to end.
Yeah.
Polls just closed in California, so I'm going to be taking a dive into results and whatever else. But the number of independents and the number of the Democrats that had voted um, as up until yesterday was dwarfing the number of Republicans that had voted in California's 23rd district.
Yeah.
And this is very heartening. Hopefully, it sends a message. She had no support whatsoever from the party or any other, party infrastructure folks that we have, or whether it's unions or orgs that mobilize, farm workers, Latinos, unionized folk. Uh, we didn't have a whole lot of that. They were supporting, obviously, with good reason, the re-election of TJ Cox in California's 21st district, for example, which is valuable. I respect that. But we have to fight every front, and we have to support all
Yes.
the candidates, and we have to be mindful with these investments that they will help. If you don't flip the congressional seat, at least you're going to win valuable city council seats, valuable county level operations and boards of people who are in, surprisingly for Kern County, very progressive. Shout out to Neil Fanapa, who was Bernie staffer over there and organizer in the 2016 campaign. And in this campaign, he was managing he was a campaign manager for a race in, I believe, Visalia, or Delano for city council, a very super progressive lady who appears to have won her race. I'm going to have to check that one out. Also,
Yeah.
shout out to Yvette Flores, who's a phenomenal organizer. She started organizing at 16 for Bernie. She was 16 years old. And and now she is the field director for the Kern County Democrats,
Wow.
getting paid,
Good
getting
for
that
her.
money. She's only 20 years old, and I'm want to try to have her run for something locally. But also a huge shout out to Lauren Perez, who was the Latino Outreach Director for the Steyer campaign, and she's also the former national organizer for SAG-AFTRA. Phenomenal organizer, phenomenal person with great inclinations and understandings of the Latino community. So she came on board on the Mangone campaign as Latino Outreach Director, and she took that place by storm. Who else?
I mean, we're seeing it
Yeah.
nationwide, where we're seeing just a lot of really good progressive battles. We're also seeing some major losses. We all wanted to see Mitch McConnell go. We all wanted to see Lindsey Graham go. Unfortunately, tonight's not the night, and that's okay. I think that everyone. I mean, it's not okay, right? But
Yeah.
but the night
I
is
mean, we
long as the
knew we knew that McConnell was going to win by 30%.
yeah.
Uh, Anybody who made any aspiration for, I call her Amy Kentucky, sorry, uh, to, you saw that last ad they released, I think
Yes, I
yesterday or
did.
today,
Yeah,
and she's like just in slow motion getting on her plane. And
yeah,
I think she's just lighting up the freaking engine and flying out of Kentucky into,
yeah,
some cabinet position in the Biden administration. And I hope she
yeah,
gets that. But
yeah,
we had a really good, interesting primary that heated up at the right time. Sadly, Booker was not able to close the deal, but I really think he would have been able to get a better result, maybe even closer. But again, I don't think that this was the time to get rid of McConnell just yet, just
mhm,
because of the amount of power he has over Kentucky.
yeah,
Nevertheless, I really hope, and I'm really thinking that uh, Booker is really fit to have a really good race and defeat Rand Paul in 22.
yeah,
Um, but again, just like I'm focused on the Latino community, he's very focused on mobilizing the African American vote in Kentucky, which is considerable,
yeah,
especially like in Lexington, and but in Louisville too, and
yeah,
uh, and work from there and mobilize the entire working class. And I think that is something that we are. I'm very heartened by it. Obviously, I know a lot of people who worked for the Amy McGrath campaign who busted their asses and just pour their heart onto that campaign. Uh, I know a few people who work in ad agencies that were making a pretty big penny out of that campaign, and more power to them with their new houses and yachts. But we just have to, be more mindful on just not mobilizing somebody because how awful this person that we run against is, but what we are going to bring into to the people, right? The message for, in comparison, the leader of the Senate to the leader of the House or the Republicans, uh, Mangone is just straight up saying, no bullshit. I am part of the working class just like you. I understand
Yeah.
working class problems just like you. I want to bring common sense solutions. I have worked with people from all across the aisle, being a Republican, being living in this Republican area, being a veteran, having been in the Air Force, surrounded by very conservative people, and I get shit done
And
because
that's what
I
we
find
need.
consensus.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ricardo, I know you have not eaten today, and I'm worried about you. So I'm going to ask you one last question, and then you're going to go eat. I'm going to be like tu tía,
Okay.
just being like, ¿no has
Gracias.
comido, Ricardo? Hay que comer.
Gracias,
La
man.
pizza no es alimento. So with that last question,
Yeah.
obviously you're a progressive guy, you're a Bernie guy. We consider ourselves the Daily Coast to be a super progressive movement. What
Oh yeah.
is your hope for the progressive movement? And I've been telling people like not tonight, for the next 2 years, because January is when we get to work, hopefully, right?
Oh yeah. No, this is not ending. Obviously, we have to understand that we have to keep on building. What I want to see, obviously, is more progressives joining up into the fray, filling these seats like the one I was telling you up in Delano, for example, getting those. That's going to be the third and fourth city council seats won in Kern County, super conservative Kern County, by bold as progressives. And these three people that I'm talking about were recently endorsed by Bernie Sanders, and I believe they're going to win the races in Bakersfield, in Delano, in Visalia, in Porterville, like cities that you have never heard of, and also that we know that are conservative bastions, and they are planting the seeds for a worker-led, people of color-led, Latino-led uh, movement, progressive movement. And on the East Coast, there's these reports this morning of, if Biden wins, and hopefully he does, Gillibrand going into his cabinet, and then this seat opens, and what happens with that? Well, hopefully we'll get a very progressive person to fill that seat, appointed in late January of 2021. Maybe a congressional representative who is pretty young and pretty exciting, and everybody's liking a lot, and she gets a lot of shit done, and you know 400,000 people watching her on Twitch. And so if we are able to push and get somebody like Ocasio-Cortez into the Senate, now that she opened a couple of channels in the House, and now we have whoever is from the squad to remain there, like Ilhan, like Rashida Tlaib, uh, and, and we bring more progressives into the House and then into the Senate, and then 2022 we get Booker in there, for example. That is what we have to focus on: continue increasing power, but building that bench from the from the city council level to the county board levels to the mayoral seats to the congressional seats to the Senate, and that is the only way we're going to be able to have real progressive power. It's not about
Yeah,
creating a new party or whatever else. It's about coalescing into
yeah,
the structures that we already have. And yeah, sure, empowering the Working Families Party and whatever good things we have to gain from, the Peace and Freedom Party, sure, support it and whatever, bring them on board and
yeah,
and empower them too. And if we're not going to run in that particular race, and they are doing it at the municipal level, sure, support it and get that candidate in and see how we can get as many progressive persons in,
yeah,
and hopefully, they're going to be playing footsie and playing well with Democrats, uh,
yeah,
but not cut them at the knees. And that is something that the Democrats have been very effective at. Whenever they have felt themselves threatened by progressivism, they have, you know, uh, kind of pushed back and and embraced the right, and that is dangerous. And we are living in those dangerous times because of those prior behaviors. That is what I work on. That is my
Right.
life mission, and that is what I'm trying to do. I empower mainly women of color to run because I already occupy a whole lot of space. So I want the least number of men to run. I want more women,
Yes.
especially women of color, to
Yes.
run and to win and to occupy those spaces and to have their voices heard. And I just spoke like 15 minutes over you, and that is just really bad. And I want everybody that
Ricardo,
is
I'm
watching to know that I
interviewing you.
am, yeah, but I know, see, I just want everybody to know that I know. All right.
On that note, Ricardo, I'm going to let you go.
Thank
Go
you.
eat something. Please drink some water, get some rest, close your eyes for 10 minutes. It's going to be a long night. I know you're on the West Coast, so you're a little behind me, but I'm thinking of you. I'm thinking of the fight, and I'm sure we'll talk soon. All right, I'll
Thank you
see you
very
soon.
much. Take
Yeah,
care,
I'll see you
Karen.
soon, Ricardo. Bye.
Ciao, Karen.
Ricardo's great. I'm so excited to have him just be here and talk to us. So I wanted to jump on here and just give some it's 11:28 p.m. updates. I wanted to go through the questions here and talk about what has been going on. What happened to the Hispanic vote in Florida? So the Latinx vote in Florida is a complicated beast. I am Latinx from Florida. I am Honduran. The majority of the Latinx vote in Florida is Cuban. The Cuban vote is particularly complex. Among my Latino group of friends from Florida, we always talk about how I guess we're going to have to create some sort of way of telling people that every Latino is different. We come from different countries and have different political leanings and persuasions. So unlike the Black vote in the United States that has a quasi-shared history in being Black in the United States, origins of slavery, of being kidnapped from Africa and brought here and then brought up in the American system that disproportionately affect them. It is a shared culture. Whereas the Latinx vote is different because the Latinx vote is either native to some degree or they immigrated to the United States from different countries. So you look at the Latinx vote in California, in Texas, in New Mexico, in Arizona, that is mostly Mexican or Central American. And that is just a very different voting bloc than the Caribbean Latinx vote. And also depending on where exactly you came from. So if you, and what the political state of those countries that they immigrated from were. So I had Juan Escalante on earlier, I think at the 8 o'clock hour, 9 o'clock hour. You can check it out on Daily Kos, on the facebook.com/Daily Kos, and go through the videos and listen to Juan and I talk about Florida. But if you are an immigrant from Venezuela and Cuba, the language, the rhetoric of socialism, of communism is going to hit you in a different way than it would if you are a Mexican migrant who immigrated from Mexico. It's just a different perspective, and that language is scary and does work. Let's go over here. Repetitive messaging that the Republicans sell. That's correct. Yeah. So right now, I wanted to give some updates that I've been seeing. I have been a strong caller of saying that we are not going to know tonight what the election is going to be. There have been some musings that we might not know Wisconsin tonight, that Michigan we won't know tonight, that Pennsylvania isn't coming out anytime soon, that they need a long time to count those votes. And that has a lot to do with the early voting operations of those states. Trumpism is alive and well. We are seeing that tonight. But those are the very key pivotal states that Biden would need to win. And we are just not going to probably get those results tonight. And that's just the nature of how this was always going to go with COVID. So I'm still here being your optimistic friend, your optimistic pundit, I guess, if that's what you want to call me, and letting you all know that the night is long, the week is long. We're going to have to wait. If you have any last minute questions for me, let me know right now. If not, I'm going to take off in a little bit and I'll be back at 12 a.m. Maybe we'll get Marcos this time. Who is to say? We are all working digitally, diligently to get you results and to get you the latest. So please check out dailycoast.com. We are having live blogs there that are up to date from a whole slew of elections experts, not just me. And I will join you all later. Thank you so much. Have a good night. I'll see you at 12. But for those of you who are turning in for the night, that's not such a bad call. I don't think we're going to know tonight. It's okay to go to sleep. But if you want to continue hearing my dulcet tones and my hottest takes and talking to my good friends and my fellow activists, we'll be here every hour on the hour until I physically cannot do it anymore. I'll talk to you all soon.